Safe Harbor Foundation presents stories of hopelessness and hope, stories of addiction and courage. These are the true stories of real people fighting their battles, reclaiming their lives.
Hi, my name is Brittany. I'm from.
This is part 2 of Brittany's story.
Graduated, lost a whole bunch of weight because my adopted parents used to say me and my sister were too fat, and we weren't that big. They would make us eat and then do 10 laps around the house, and I would puke, so that would still go with my eating disorder. When I went to Barry Robinson Center, I stopped with my eating disorder and I started working out, running laps and all that stuff. When I came back home, my adopted dad asked me to sit on his lap and was like, "You're so pretty." I'm 16 years old at this age. Okay? And nobody believed me. Here comes all the hate from his grandkids, from him, my little sister saying I'm a liar. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not going to sit here and lie about something. Like, I would not do that. They try to say, like, well, I started pain pills. I started stealing their pain pills at 16. I started smoking weed at 16. I tried to commit suicide again by drinking bleach and cleaners and stuff like that because they just treated me like crap. Wouldn't tell me when dinner was ready. They wouldn't cook for me. If they bought food, it wasn't for me. It was for them and my sister. They never came and checked on me. I stayed in my room. They didn't get me anything for Christmas, didn't get me anything for my birthday because I was being punished. I wasn't allowed to use the phone, wasn't allowed to go nowhere during the summer. So finally I started running away to my real family because my little sister made a Facebook of me, so she wouldn't get in trouble. She got a hold of my mom, and my mom's birth mom started calling the house. And I answered it one time because I, didn't know who it was, and I was the one getting in trouble for it. It was to the point my adopted dad, I'm pretty sure he put cameras up outside my window or in my room, something. Because he told me, he put cameras up in the house to see what I was doing. I wasn't allowed to use that phone. He made sure he would unplug it when he wasn't home. That's messed up. What if something would happen to me and I had to call 911? I don't have a cell phone. You won't let me have one. We're not allowed on the internet. And so I ran away to my birth moms. They didn't even know I was gone. I was gone for a month. Didn't even know I was gone till my big sister called the cops on me because she was jealous because, my mom was paying attention to me. So my worker picked me up. I went to juvie. Came back. My judge, Judge King, he's not alive anymore, but that was my favorite judge, and he put me on bond until I was 18, ordered me to do GED classes. So I went to, it'd be like a halfway house for teenagers. I went to that down here in South Charleston. I did good. I got my first job, got my first boyfriend. That's kind of where, relationship turned abusive. He asked me to run away. I had nobody else, and I was like, okay, that's him, I ran away again, and then he came with me down to Parkersburg, and then my sister, we got in a fight. She called the cops on me again. And again, my adopted parents never knew I was gone. So my worker called and was like, "Do you even know she's gone?" They didn't care, so they left me in juvie. I went in front of my judge, because my mom lost custody and all rights to me. She went to court, though, to my court date. She could have gotten arrested for that. And my judge king was like, "You're not a bad child. You've just been through a lot of stuff." And, so he gave my mom physical custody of me, my birth mom, and the state still had legal custody. And that's never happened, in, history that I know of. I was excited. I was like, okay, well, my adopted parents abandoned me. They treat me like crap. Still to this day, they call me, they still talk about me, call me a druggie. Saying all this stuff, trying to put, I was a bad person, all because I told the truth of what her husband did. I really don't care about them because, karma will get them, God will judge them. I learned how to forgive certain situations so it doesn't eat me up. I found out my boyfriend was doing drugs, speed. Well, I didn't know it at the time. He started abusing me out of nowhere. He would throw Xbox controllers at my head, start choking me in the middle of the street, just beating me, tearing my clothes off me, calling me a liar, paranoid, saying I'm messing with his cousin or something because his uncle was saying that I was. They were both doing, meth. And that, I was like, I don't know that, because I wasn't doing it. When we finally broke up at 19, I went through a downfall. I started drinking every day, started meeting up with random men, which wasn't a good thing, because some stuff happened. I came back to Charleston, moved in with a girl that was my best friend, started doing Suboxone, Roxy's. Her baby dad asked me one day to buy a bag of meth, and I'm like, me being already on pain pills and stuff, and I'm like, well, if I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna try it. And ever since that day at 19 years old, I've been off to the races on meth. Like, I've went crazy, like, hallucinated so bad. Like, I thought people were after me. I would carry around a butcher knife because I would hear so much voices. I'd get so high and stay up. I wouldn't eat. I refused to eat, drink. I just wanted to get so messed up. I didn't want to be. My real mom had to come and get me so many times, and I was still so paranoid. I had almost had a heart attack 3 times within my addiction. Each time, I think it was God. I know it was God. The first time I was in Uniontown, PA, somebody gave me bath salt, and I did almost a whole ball of bath salt, and I went crazy. I saw shadow people. I got so scared and was hearing voices, thought I was on a freaking talk show, and my boyfriend at the time thought like all his baby mamas were at my mom's house under the bed in the closet, where I did so much and my anxiety was so high, like my stepdad ended up calling the police on me. At least I was smart enough not to bring it with me when I left, because I just left because he was yelling at me and I was having anxiety and I was high. The police searched my bag because he was like, she has it on her, da 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 da. I'm like, I do not have anything on me. You can check me. There was nothing on me. He's like, you can go to jail or you can go to the hospital. I went to the hospital. They had to give me an IV right away to calm my heart rate down. And then I was still out of it. My mom came to sit with me, and she just had gastric bypass surgery. So you can only imagine how painful that was. And I swear there was a monkey saying I couldn't leave Uniontown, PA. I know. And I could only see him in a reflection of a mirror window. And he was like, you'll never leave Uniontown, Pennsylvania. I was like, he put a gun up under my blanket in the freaking hospital, and I'm like, Mom, I gotta kill myself. I can never leave. And so I ripped my freaking IV out, went to the bathroom. She's like, she's gonna kill herself. And then when the nurse came in, I started to calm down. She's like, you need to freaking admit her. She's suicidal. And they're like, well, she has to say she's suicidal. And when they asked me, I said no. And she's like, you're really going to believe that? You're going to believe somebody that's acting well, it's because I was on drugs. They didn't care. It just got worse from there. I lost my job. I lost a bunch of weight. I stopped talking to my family and my friends, and that's how they always knew. It was so bad. My best friend wasn't doing drugs at the time. She cried to me and said, I wish I could just have the old Brittany back. I didn't realize what she meant. And then she started getting high with me. To this day, she's still in addiction. And now I know how it feels because she won't talk to me. That's my best friend. We did everything together. We both were getting high all the time, going to meet up with men and partying, drinking. If we weren't getting high, we were drinking every day. She was in an abusive relationship with her baby dad. He would break in and be so freaking abusive, and it was just crazy. And like I said, I was so paranoid all the time. This one girl said she had a hitman, and this guy that they liked to play tricks on me when I got high to try to scare me to stop, but that wasn't going to scare me. I was going to end up killing somebody, and I tried to tell him that. I have PTSD. Severe PTSD, and you doing stuff like that is not going to go well. So this guy came up to the apartments in Oakwood up here and bought everybody pizza there, and was getting everybody high. And the girl, her stepmom, talked me into okay, we're gonna go gambling, get in the truck with him. And I'm at first I was no, this doesn't seem right. Well, he said we were gonna go gambling, but he started taking us up to Kanawha State Forest. I'm like, where are we going? That's not this. We're going in the forest. Well, I saw an axe in the back of the seat. I said, listen, I don't know what you think you're doing, but I will chop your head off if you don't turn around. I'm telling you, I've been in some stuff, and people thought because I was high that it wasn't true. And that's the stigma that we all have, especially on meth. Oh, what she says is not true because she's getting high. A lot of people don't understand what we've been through. A lot of stuff we say is true, but you're going to think it's not true. That's what really sucked. At this point, I don't care if anybody believes me because I know what I've been through. I know some things were in my head, the voices and the shadow people, and, but my gut has always been right. I have learned how to read people and situations, and I've always been right about those situations. I have saved myself from multiple situations because I have learned how to read people. Even my own blood tried to set me up multiple times. Like, my own blood got me hooked on fentanyl, so she would mix the meth and fentanyl together. So I started speedballing. I caught my first case at 21. I got conspiracy. For my boyfriend over a phone call. He tried to have me bring in Suboxone strips inside Greentown prison, which I didn't. They were mad because they couldn't catch me doing it because I didn't, and got me with conspiracy. I went on the run multiple times. I couldn't stay clean, and my judge wouldn't give me a bond that I could pay out to bond out. He would only PR bond me to rehabs and sober livings, and then I had to go back to jail. Well, because of, my pending felony, every time I went to the regional, the COs were like, oh, you're the one that brought drugs into the prison, we would bury you under the jail if we could. I'm like, I didn't bring nothing in. He tried to set me up. Dude, I thought you loved me and all this. Well, I got so used to being in jail. I really didn't care if I went. But it was to the point my judge was like, I have to put you in jail or else you're going to die. Because his daughter overdosed and died. He gave me multiple chances. Like, people said he was a mean judge. He really wasn't. He did try to help me. Like, he gave me multiple chances. Finally, my lawyer was like, Brittany, you just need to take this plea deal, this 1 to 5, because you can't stop getting high. And which was true. So when I went to go take my plea deal, I was high. And my judge was like, you cannot do that right now. 3 months later, he let me come in. I did my plea deal. He let me back out to a rehab. I did good for 4 months. Then this girl that was my roommate, I thought we were best friends, took me to the side and was like, hey, I know somebody at work that has meth and I'm gonna buy a bag. I don't know what I was going through, but it was like this time where I had 15 months clean, so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna put it in. Well, I ended up buying it with her, and I got so high, I left. I was like, I screwed it up. They put me in jail for 30 days. I got back out, went on the run for a month. They never looked for me. Went down to Parkersburg, got my own apartment, got a job, never got arrested, still getting high. Got to the point, had to take care of my mom, had to take care of my sister, and I'm like, dude, I can't do all that. That's stressful. Well, finally, my lawyer was like, Brittany, you have to go to court. And it was during COVID. I'm like, Mom, I'm going to prison. My judge will not tell me to show up in person unless I'm going to prison. It's COVID. She's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. He's going to give you. I was like, Mom, no, I'm going to prison. So I ended up going to prison. If it wasn't for prison, honestly, I got my GED there. I went through RSAT. I came out. I did get high the first couple of days and then I quit. I stayed clean for a year, and then I found out my mom was getting high, and that made me depressed, because she kept calling me saying she was going to kill herself. Her husband was trying to kill her and all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, dude, so my grandma would make me feel guilty that I had to take care of her, and then my mom said I had to take care of my big sister, and my sister is always the first person to get me high. I'm the one that chooses to get high, but what she'll do is get high in front of me, knowing I'm at my weakest moment, and then it was always, oh, you're a fiend, Brittany's this, Brittany's that, and I'm just like, so that made me feel so bad. But I did keep my job, and then I started getting high at my job. Finally, somebody caught me. I lost my job. He said I could come back, though, when I proved I graduated rehab and I'm taking my medication, I'm in therapy. Well, he never let me come back. It ended up not being him, it was my aunt, which my cousin did the same thing and she let her daughters come back. So I'm like, okay, so you're gonna do that, but I've been there for a year, never had a problem until now. And then finally I came back for a little bit and then ended up getting high again. I was supposed to go to work on New Year's. I was so depressed because my best friend Matt was leaving me and that was the only person that was talking to me. So I took a whole script of Rimron. I looked at myself in the mirror, was like, you're not a pussy, and took a whole script. And it hit me fast because I gave my best friend Matt, he was packing up his stuff, because I let him keep his stuff there at my apartment. I was like, here's my keys, you can take that my dresser to your daughter. He's like, what is wrong with you, Brittany? I'm like, nothing. He's like, yeah. And I was like, I took a whole script of Rimron and then I couldn't puke or nothing. And he's like, if I can't make you puke, I have to call an ambulance. He stuck his fingers down my throat. We stuck a toothbrush down my throat. Couldn't puke. Finally, I ate a little piece of tart and I finally was able to. And like my aunt called, was like, "Are you coming to work?" I was like, "No, I just tried to kill myself." She's like, "If you really tried to kill yourself, you wouldn't be on the phone right now. You'd be in the hospital." I'm like, "You know what? I don't have time for y'all. Believe what you want," and hung up. And then I lost my apartment. Nobody was there for me. My family wouldn't let me go to their house to get out of the cold. Ended up going with this one girl, and she only wanted me there because I could get her high. Then she thought I was trying to get with her baby dad, which I never was. She ended up kicking me out on the street, knowing I had nowhere to go. I had to go stay with this guy that he wanted the same thing. I paid him rent. He kicked me out even though I paid him rent. I paid him in, meth and stuff like that. I cleaned his house, brought food in the house. Like, it was just, people used me. When I wouldn't give them anything anymore, it was, "Oh, you gotta leave." And then I met my fiance that I'm getting ready to marry now. He's in prison. I met him through my best friend that's locked up with him. I wasn't really looking for a relationship, neither was he. So we were friends at the time and we just started talking. All it took was for him to say, "I care about you. You need to go to rehab." He's like, "Quit acting like a crackhead." I'm like, okay, this cute guy is telling me to quit acting like a crackhead. Okay. But I'm like, okay, this guy cares about me. My best friend cares about me. And that's all that matters. So, December 21st of 2024, I went to rehab, and was it 2024? 2025? Yeah, 2024, because it'll be 2 years in December. I've been clean ever since. I went to St. Joe's. I did 90 days there. I actually did my therapy. I actually worked on my recovery this time. I didn't get in any relationships. I worked on myself, and I've been to St. Joe's multiple times. So like all the staff knew me, and the director was like, "Brittany, you have changed a lot. Like I can tell you want recovery this time." Then I went to Recovery Point. I left, like, I really wanted to graduate because I love Recovery Point. But I started getting bullied, because I had no money. I don't have anybody that I could call to get money for cigarettes and stuff like that. And it was to the point, like, I couldn't work on my recovery. The people over the program, they're all graduates, but Emily and Amanda, I'll never forget them. I love them to death, and I still need to go visit them, would give me money to help me. So now it was, the girls were trying to get me kicked out. And I'm like, dude, I have to leave. I'm like, "Amanda, Emily, I'm so sorry, but I can't. I've tried to stay here and, do all this. I can't do it. I'm going to end up relapsing." So I went to Hope for All. I stayed there for 3 months. Like, I wasn't on the right medication, like, where I've been clean for like 6 months. My mood swings, I found out my mood swings were really, really, really bad. And one minute I'd be okay, the next I'm just really mad or really depressed, and like it just switched in an instant, and I couldn't control it. And I told staff I can't control it. Well, I would get, like, they treated me like shit, would like argue with me and literally yell at me and kick me out, like threaten to kick me out. And I'm like, "If you kick me out, I'm going to sue you. I just paid you rent and gave you money for groceries. Like, do you not see the way you're acting?" I was like, "I will record this and put it on Facebook for everybody to see how you treat us." Well, they didn't end up kicking me out, and then it was like a month later, I picked up a shift. They opened the downstairs for people to come in, went to work, and they don't tell you if they're kicking you out. They pack up your stuff, they take your coat out of the door, and wait for you to show up, and they knew I had nowhere to go. I didn't have a phone at the time because mine broke. If it wasn't for my roommate at the time telling me, I would have never been able to get a hold of my brother-in-law to come get me. So that really upset me. Like, I didn't do anything to you guys to get me kicked out. Like, yeah, in the past, I told you I need new medication because something's not working. Well, they're all about, in my opinion, it's all about money. That's all they are. After I got kicked out of there, my brother-in-law picked me up, and then I went to Parkersburg, and I begged him not to take me to Parkersburg because I knew I would get high because he was dropping me off at my sister's. I was like, please don't do that, Well, I ended up lapsing, got high once, and then I was like, I can't do that, and then ended up coming to Safe Haven, and ever since I've been clean. I graduated. May will make a year that I've been here. I have a job. I'm in college. I'm going to try to get my PRSS. I have everybody here at Safe Haven to help me. If it wasn't for, the director and everybody that works here, I don't think I would have made it without them because I don't have my family. And besides my fiance and his mom, I cried when I first came. Okay, I don't know why, because it was different. Other sober livings, they had food for you, This is more of a freedom. I wasn't ready for it, but they let me come in as soon as I could. Like, this was the one place that helped me, like had me a bed and everything, was like, you can come in, you know? So I was grateful for that. Otherwise I was going to be on the street. I would have went back. But I have went through stuff here. I did have a girl that bullied me. I've had a bad experience with that. Like she had her husband write me a letter telling me to off myself and, you know, everything else. I've had another girl try to get me in trouble and made up lies about me, but I stuck through it, talked to Toby. She helped me through a lot. I've been pulled in the office a lot. You know, I had behaviors, I still have behaviors I get looked at, but if it wasn't for them telling me what behaviors I need to work on, I would never be where I am. Like, I've changed a whole lot. I mean, I love the place. A lot of people, they might think it's like too much freedom, or, you know, some people just can't do the freedom part, but I freaking love it here. Yeah, I went through some, you know, trials and tribulations, but I didn't go get high. I asked for help, you know, so, but that's my story.
This has been a Safe Harbor Foundation podcast. This episode and others are available at safehavensoberhomes.com. If you know of someone who needs help with addiction, please call us at 304-853-3869 or visit us at safehavensoberhomes.com. Be well, people. We do recover.